Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Celtic Way YouTube channel. My name is Ryan McGinlay. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Tony Haggerty at the Tony Macaroni. I tried my hardest not to say Tony at the Tony Macaroni, but it could not be helped, Tony. Tony, how you doing this morning? You're in situ for the game. How are you feeling?
I am in situ, as you can see. I am live from the Tony Macaroni. Yeah, feeling good. We just looking at the lineup there. It's more or less the lineup we predicted, with one change. Ryan, James Forrest for Lewis Palmer. So Forrest has got quite a good record at the Tony Macaroni. So I can see the logic and Brendan's thoughts with that. I think he scored in his last outing here, 3-0 Celtic won, or he scored a 3-1. That's certainly recently. So yeah, I can see what he's maybe thinking with that bit of width, and maybe not want to risk somebody like Palmer. But yeah, it's great to be talking to you from inside the stadium again. You know, I like to excuse the background music, but hey, we'll run with it. See where we go.
Yeah, I don't know what the music's like in the background, but it's quite loud, but we can certainly still hear you, Tony. So that's the main thing. I'll just go through the team that's at the bottom of the screen: Joe Hart in goals, Alistair Johnson, Lagerbielke, Scales and Taylor in defence. In the midfield, it's McGregor, Hatate and O'Reilly, and up front, Forrest, Kyogo and Maeda. Yeah, I think 10 out of the 11 spots, it felt like they were already hand-picked, you would say. You knew what they were going to be, but that Forrest one's a big surprise.
The Forrest one's a surprise, but yourself and I picked the same team on our predicted 11s, and we said that it was a redemption shot he was going to give the team that started against Feyenoord, because if we get back to it, up until the concession of the free kick, they were actually doing very well in a containing way, and then they got forward with purpose. And I think he thinks that sort of, that team can cause Livingston problems. Forrest, the big curveball there, but as I say, he's got a good, decent record here, and hopefully he can continue that. Kyogo also scored a belter the last time he was here, so here's hoping that he can get back in the saddle and do what he does best and score goals. Starved of any real decent service. Tuesday night, you know. So, and we spoke about the chance he might have had Rio Hatate looked up, slipped him in, but that's gone. Domestic matters, Celtic are turning their mind to, and a great chance, Ryan, to apply a bit of pressure on the other side of the city and move 7 points clear, and that's what it's all about today: getting a result and moving 7 points clear of Rangers, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. Big game tomorrow, Motherwell against Rangers at the top end of the table, you would say. Both Motherwell have had a tremendous start to the season, but you know, you've got to put that pressure on. Celtic, it seems like for one of the first times this season, they're playing first rather than second, so it's good to have that sort of, it's only an advantage if you win the game, so Celtic need to go out and do the business. When I was looking at the team, I was looking for Maeda instantly in that team. I think he's always better on these plastic pitches. He seems to come up trumps. It seems his running style and his style of playing, his pressing, anybody can make a mistake on these plastic surfaces, and the fact that he's been chosen, not that I didn't think he was going to get chosen, because you know he's always there or thereabouts in the team. He's one of Brendan Rodgers' trusted men, much like with Ange Postecoglou. I think he's found out what you get with Maeda, even during the game, or regardless of what manager he works under, he's going to get a shift from him, that's for sure. It's great to see, and I know a lot of people were quite critical of Rio Hatate after his performance during the week. I think we maintain the fact that he didn't look fit, he didn't look match fit yet, or at the right mindset, not the right mindset, the right physicality sort of sense to play in that big game in the Champions League. But I don't know about you, but I'm delighted that Hatate's still back in that team. You know, he can bring the magic, and he'll be out there to prove himself and prove the not the doubters, but maybe a couple of the naysayers wrong, that you know he's back, and he's back with a bang, basically.
First and foremost, Dyson Maeda is one of those players. He does exactly what it says in the tin, and he's one of those players people talk about that will play in any. If you're a footballer, you'll play in any surface. He's got boundless energy, and he brings a lot to the team. A lot of the stuff that goes largely unnoticed, but on a surface like this, you're going to need guys to graft and work hard and match a team that's going to graft and work hard. And Dyson Maeda is certainly one of them. He would probably be your first name on that team sheet, Ryan, today, because of what he does give to you. And he's no slouch when it comes to scoring either, given a chance or two in the box. So I'm glad to see him there. And also with Hatate. Hatate's just one of these players, you know. I think he's notoriously hard on himself, and when he doesn't perform well, I think Hatate will come out all guns blazing today. And as a manager, you do two things with a player who dips in form. You either take him out of the team for his own good, or you let them play through it and just have a word and say, "Come on, I don't even need to tell you what happened on Tuesday. You're better than that." And Hatate knows he's much better than that. And he was, Ange Postecoglou always said he used to go to him all the time and say, "How can I be better?" I think they'll have had that conversation, both Hatate and Brendan Rodgers, this week. And I'm sure Brendan Rodgers put the arm around them and said, "First thing you do is don't worry, you'll be playing on Saturday." So I think that relaxes a player in their mind, and they say, "Okay, I'll focus myself on being better and not." And there are. He maybe doesn't look fit, but he's going to play him through that and gain his fitness. And you've said before, the only way you gain fitness and experience is by playing football matches, and Hatate wouldn't want to miss the match anyway. So I always think there's a comfort blanket there when he's there, because he brings so much to that team. As Brendan Rodgers said, he brings a dynamism to that team, and I'm happy to see him start.
Yeah, I think two not negative traits is that he's a perfectionist, but he takes the risky passes as well. Now those two combinations can make for mistakes on the pitch, because he'll always go for that risky perfect pass, and sometimes it won't come off, and then he'll get annoyed with himself and throw his hands up in the air or get annoyed. But that's what you want to see. People talk about his attitude. I think his attitude's spot on the pitch. He's trying to make things happen. He's a dynamic midfielder. He's a joy to watch, and when Hatate's on his game and he's playing to the level that we know he can play, then the opposition don't stand much of a chance, in all honesty. He's a game changer. And the same for Matt O'Reilly that's right next to him. You're hoping he can continue his good form today.
I think also, there's an erraticness to Hatate's passing, but as you say, he's not shy of taking risks and wanting to do the right thing. And more often than not, it does come off, but there are times when it doesn't. But as you say, I like beside him is Matt O'Reilly, who's been pretty imperious since the start of the season. You've seen he's been man of the match in every game he's played. I would back that up. I wouldn't disagree with that, Ryan, at all. And I'm just looking for him to continue on that rich vein of form, because as we've alluded to a couple of times, he really is enjoying playing under the manager, and he's taken everything that the manager said on board. He's added goals to his armoury. He's getting forward a lot more. He's defending when he has to. So I don't have anything but praise for Matt O'Reilly so far this season, and here's hoping he can continue that today.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with my earlier statement. Nothing has changed with regard to the fact that I think O'Reilly has been Celtic's best player in basically every game this season. Any good performance that Celtic have had this season, whether it be just for a spell or for the whole game or in order to get a result, it's been because Matt O'Reilly's been at the front and centre of everything, both attacking and defensively. He's shown growth in his game with his defending as well. His defensive numbers have always been there. They were there under Ange Postecoglou last season, but I think he's went up a gear as well. He's known what battles to pick and what battles to shy away from, and I think you're seeing that real growth and maturity as a football player. He's definitely mature off the pitch. He's one of the best spoken 22-year-olds I think I've ever heard, but on the pitch he's definitely he's an old soul in that midfield for being a young player, and having that great mixture between the two, it's really coming up trumps for Celtic so far this season. You're hoping he can have another really good performance today.
He's a wonderful calming influence in that midfield line, and as you say, he is an old head on young 22 shoulders, young 22-year-old shoulders, but I just look at him and he's I use the phrase a baller, right, and everybody gets that. People don't like that phrase, but I just think there is a maturity to everything that he does. He's very silky, isn't he? He's very elegant, in everything that he does, and he's a match winner. He can produce passes from nowhere. We've seen it happen too many times. The only criticism of his game was what Rodgers said at the start of the season. For a player of that natural talent and real gifted ability, he doesn't score much or many goals. But he's rectifying that, and he's listening and he's getting into the positions. And if it's not him scoring, he's certainly getting involved in meaningful attacks and trying to play in his teammates. And what a player Celtic have with Matt O'Reilly, and I just enjoy him while you can. Don't want to speculate about how much he'll be worth or when he leaves and whenever he leaves the club, but just enjoy him. You're watching a real master craftsman here, and somebody who I rate very highly, and I have done ever since I seen him at the start of his Celtic career. Celtic plucked out a real gem, and he's proven it week in, week out. He's flourishing under Rodgers, and long may that continue.
Yeah, thank you very much to Riley McGree for not joining the club, because if that was the case, then Matt O'Reilly wouldn't be. He'd probably be in one of the Premier League teams by now, I would say. I think his meteoric rise is that of maybe the best since Dele Alli at MK Dons in terms of that young player coming through the first team. Celtic were so smart and looking at all the analytics, all the things that he brought to the game and brought to his team, that they saw that he was too much of an outlier not to bring him into the club in the January. He brought that dynamism, had his ups and downs last season, but now he seems to be very much one of the main men in that midfield.
And what I like about him, Ryan, is he's not agitated for a move, has he? And he wants to get as many games under his belt and his most experience. And I think he's one of those players that appreciates his lot at Celtic, and Celtic can offer him so much. They can offer him the big Champions League stage. He was one of the few that could hold his head high on Tuesday night, and he's amassing all this experience and all these games, and he will leave when the time is right.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry to everybody for the background noise. It's going to be busy. 12:30 kickoff. Celtic are in town. That means the crowds will come, whether that be supporters, journalists, Tony, who's both. You would say, you're a perfect blend of both. So you're a
fan with a typewriter. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking through the team just now. I don't think there can be any complaints about who's been picked, apart from potentially Forrest. But even then, you said he has a good record against Livingston in the past. So he's maybe one of Brendan Rodgers' trusted lieutenants in that team. Somebody that he knows he can rely on. If it doesn't work for him, there's plenty of options on the bench. Liam Scales is still there. He's still in the team. What is this? His third or fourth start in a row now. He's made himself a first team player. He's came in from the doldrums to the first team proceedings. It's incredible the change in about a month in his career. Probably agitating for a loan move a month ago. Now he's one of the first names on the team sheet, and fair play to him. There's a lot of people in the comments that say we don't give him enough credit, but you've got to give credit where it's due. I thought he was one of Celtic's best players against Feyenoord, and he's done a stellar job since he's came into the team.
He's there on merit, Ryan. And when you have, and I'm always one of these guys that once you have the yellow jersey in your possession, it's yours to throw away, isn't it? And he now has the yellow jersey, and I'm using yellow as in the Tour de France reference. He's one of the leaders in the team.
He's on his bike now.
Yeah, correct, exactly. So, long way that continues well. And he said himself, all he has to do is keep up that level of consistency and performance, and give the manager the question and the dilemma when the likes of Cameron Carter-Vickers are fit, when the likes of Dorofsky's fit, and Nat Phillips is fully fit. So when all these guys come back in the team, is it Liam Scales and another, i.e., can you see a defensive partnership of Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales? Some people can already see that. So if he keeps that up,
the fact that that's an argument, the fact that that's now an argument now is testament to how well he's done.
And that came from left field. So it's a big up to Liam Scales. His attitude spot on as well. And from the man of the match performance at Ibrox, he just seems to have grown and grown. And this is another big test today on this surface. And if he keeps chalking up those tests and coming through them with flying colours, then can you drop him? That's what you have to say. That's what the manager will have to, the question that the manager will have to ask eventually. But as long as Liam Scales is playing at the top of his game, then that's the dilemma Brendan Rodgers will have when all his centre-backs are fit. And that's why the manager has spent a lot of money to make those kind of decisions.
Absolutely, that's why he's in the top dollar, the most expensive Celtic manager of all time in terms of his wages. So yeah, this is why he's in the hot seat. Just going through the subs as well. I didn't put them in the ticker tape at the bottom, but I'll just go through them on stream. We've got Scott Bain, Luis Palma, Yang, Turnbull, Holm, Iwata, Bernardo and Ralston. So there's plenty of names on that subs bench that can come on and make an impact. If it doesn't go well, even in the first half, bring them on at half time or the second half after 60 minutes. Who in particular on that bench are you looking at that could potentially make an impact in the second half if things aren't going Celtic's way? Either that or they need game time because Celtic are cruising.
You're looking at Lowe maybe to come on and feature and make an impact, aren't you?
Physical presence.
Would you risk Palmer? Yeah, you might need that at some point in this game. Palmer, would you risk him on the surface? I don't know, but they're going to have to play. And do you know what I would do as well, Ryan? I would give Odin Thiago home some game time. I don't want him to dwell on what happened the other night. So the best way to go over it is just to get back out on the pitch. And I hope Celtic are in a comfortable position where they can bring Odin Thiago home on and just say to him, get it out your system. Go and make an impact in the right way, in the proper way. And if he listens and learns, he will do that. And the manager is one to, didn't throw him under the bus. And Brendan Rodgers is that tight. Listen, forget it, park it, it's gone. You can't change it. But what I do see in you is a talented footballer. Don't show them why you're a talented footballer. So I'd like to see Odin Thiago home get some game time. Also would like, in an ideal world, Bernardo to get some game time too. And shows what he's got. Because I'm interested and intrigued by these players. I want to see more of them. But in order to see that, Celtic are going to have to be in a comfortable position, aren't they? I think,
absolutely.
Or else they're going to have to turn to them and say, guys, this is your stage. We need something special here. We need a rabbit out of a hat. So it's going to work one or two ways today, isn't it? But those are the players that I'm hoping to see, given an ideal world, and that Celtic are in that comfortable position where they can introduce them. But Odin Thiago home especially, I want them to get that out his system, Ryan, and I'm sure the manager would probably think the same way. What's the expression? Put them out on the grass. Well, it's not grass, is it? Put them out in the plastic.
That's got a good ring to it as well. Yeah, I do like that. I like that, Tony. That was quick thinking there. Absolutely. Yeah, players like Yang as well, Yang and Turnbull, they could be ones that could come on and make a difference, especially Turnbull in a dead ball situation, or if he's got a long shot away out on the box. It might turn to that. The game might turn to that where you can't get your usual fluid passing style going, and you need to elect to take shots instead. If that's the case, then there are players on the pitch, on the starting 11 that can do that, but there's also ammunition on the bench to do that too. I think with Bernardo, you're talking about Bernardo, it's a bit of an unknown quantity with him. We don't have enough.
No.
In terms of I'm not going to go down an analytical route, but we don't have enough of the eye test that we talk about. We've hardly seen him, so he's a bit of an unknown quantity. We need to see what he's like, what he can bring. Might not be the best game for him today at Livingston with the challenging pitch. That might be better for a home game, but at the same time, he's there if needed. It's another midfielder. It's definitely a better option than bringing in somebody that just isn't fancied whatsoever. This guy's on a loan deal. This guy's looking to make that loan deal a permanent deal at the end of his initial spell. So it's up to him to take his chance when it does come. And we need to see more of him, basically.
The key words you mentioned there, Ryan, is options. I'm all for options. Celtic have got a plethora of options on that bench, whether it be Bernardo, whether it be Lowe, whether it be Yang, whether it be Thiago, whether it be Turnbull. So I'm liking that, because you're going to have to turn to someone at some point, possibly in this game, and those guys fill me with comfort. Here's hoping they can give you a bit of joy if you do have to turn to them. So I'm all for that. I like a bench that I've got options, Ryan, if I need to turn to them. And I think lots of those guys will be champing at the bit if they, to get onto that park anyway, especially Thiago home, as long as it's channeled in the right way, then I think Celtic, I'm not necessarily worried about this game, but you just know that there's been problems caused by Livingston to Celtic before. And I thought Des McGinlay yesterday on the briefing, he kind of called it right. He said it's a beacher's foot of a game, and that's exactly what it is. It's a fence, you should be able to jump over comfortably, but now and again there's fallers at it, and it poses its threats and its dangers. So I just want Celtic to be clinical and professional today, Ryan. Get in, do the job, and come out to Tony Haggerty with 3 points. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you expect from the game today? That pitch is completely unpredictable. You don't know what way the ball is going to bounce. When it bounces, you get that black stuff that comes out of the surface as well. It's a very, very challenging surface to play on. I know that the players sometimes train on it, but it's a very difficult, it's a very different mindset you've got to have when you're playing 90 minutes. Injuries can get picked up. It seemed as if whenever Celtic travelled to that you had to compensate for a couple of injuries that were happening due to the surface. I know Livingston play on it every second week, so they'll be more used to it. Kilmarnock too, with their different style of plastic pitch. Brendan Rodgers was saying that on Thursday, they're very different surfaces, the two of them. Yeah, how do you compensate from that? How do you get into that mindset that you're playing on this very different pitch? It's not a real grass pitch. It's plastic, and there's different ways that you have to go about that. How do you do that?
As I said yesterday, it's football, Ryan, but not as you know it, is it? And you just have to get your head around it, and you can train on all the plastic surfaces you want. You can't replicate what's going to happen here today on that kind of surface. But it was ever thus. You've played on it that many times. Players are kind of used to it, but you never ever get 100% used to it. But you're just going to have to try and get the ball down and play as much football as you can. And I think the other night I saw a lot of good signs. Some of the passing was poor, but when it clicked, it clicked. And I think that's largely why, with the exception of Forrest, he's gone with a similar team. Because there was moments in the game the other night where Celtic did look good when they were passing the ball about. Maybe not as threatening as they could be in an attacking sense, but they'll certainly be threatening in an attacking sense today. Because you look at that squad of players and set of players, they've got better players in every position than Livingston. So go and make that count. And yeah, I know the surface, and I don't want to be talking about the surface at the end of the game, but
Brendan Rodgers himself said there's no excuses.
Yeah,
he's not going to use the pitch as an excuse whatsoever.
Yeah, so don't use the pitch as an excuse. Go and bring your best football game to the proceedings today and to the occasion, and it should be good enough, Ryan, to win all 3 points. And if you have to win ugly, so be it. But show that you've got the spirit and the will and the fight to also win ugly. But all 3 points, and if you get a performance to boot, that's a bonus, especially on days like today, because it is the proverbial banana skin, isn't it? But you just stay concentrated, you stay focused, and I've got every faith in the 11 that have been chosen to deliver, Ryan, and I'm sure the manager has as well, which is why he's chosen them.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you just think now? I know Celtic's recent record has been good at Livingston. That was due to Ange Postecoglou sort of working out after getting defeated in his first trip there. I remember it was Andrew Shinnie who scored the goal, which was really a counter attack. Celtic were dominating. They get hit with a sucker punch, and Celtic pushed and pushed, but didn't get an equaliser in that game. That was when Ange Postecoglou's methods were just getting drilled into the players. I remember Jota was trying to make things happen out wide when he was on loan from Benfica at that point. But since then, it's been pretty plain sailing for Celtic at Livingston. Do you think maybe because of the Rugby Park result in the League Cup, there's a bit more nervousness about this game, just due to the way that Celtic played? I know it's a different pitch, but it's still a plastic pitch, still different than what they normally play on, but it can't be used as an excuse at the same time. But do you think there's that nervousness because of the earlier result in the League Cup?
I think you can be mindful of that result, which will make you more determined to make sure it doesn't happen again. And you have to part that. That's been and gone. And they're not ideal. And the argument is that in top flight football and leagues in Europe, they shouldn't be here. Plastic surfaces. That's an argument for another day, but I just think you have to just focus on your own job and and concentrate on the football that you're playing. You have a vastly better team with superior players, and I just think they should be able to get the job done. Yep, if they don't, then people will start that kind of Celtics can't function on plastic surfaces. I don't want to be talking about stuff like that, Ryan, because I don't think it will come down to that at the end of, it is what it is. You can prepare as much as you can. These surfaces are unpredictable, we get that. But what's not unpredictable is your ability to play football. And Celtic have played some decent football, certainly domestically this season, and there's no reason why they can't continue that. We've mentioned players that can make the difference. Hatate, O'Reilly, even McGregor, and Kyogo up front, even Dyson Maeda, and possibly even James Forrest as well. He could come out, spring out the traps, and maybe that's why Brendan's seen something in him in training this week that he thinks I'll unleash him. A surprise package on Livingston because he's come in from the cold basically. So yeah, I think that there's been a lot of thought being put into this team, Ryan. The selection for Brendan Rodgers, even though we called it more or less spot on, Boris was surprised, but I think these guys are his tried and trusted lieutenants for today, and I think he's pretty confident. He'll be pretty confident they can go and do a job. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just bringing up a quick comment that's been made. Tony, you should be beamed into the Celtic dressing room for team talks. You're an inspiration. Do you want to move a couple of 100 yards and take Brendan's spot? I don't know.
That's very kind, Gavin. And thank you for that. It's very complimentary. I always say I speak for myself, or I speak the way I see things, and I call it the way I see it. And yeah, I'd love to be in there one day. I would go all Al Pacino on the way they give them. So I'd end up trying, that. So I'm an emotional man. So
you need to watch Don't turn into James Corden with that, with the England players. It's all about finding that fine balance between the two. Yeah, I'm conscious.
Michael Sheen with Wales stuff in it, that kind of
absolutely. Not Martin Sheen. I got those two mixed up a couple of months ago. So yeah, I'm very wary of getting those two mixed up. Different actors, different countries. But I'm conscious that you'll need to get set up for the game since it kicks off in just under half an hour. But just finally, before we end off the podcast, or the match preview rather, who do you think will be the main difference today, and who do you think will be the main difference today, and what do you think the score's going to be?
I think Matt O'Reilly and Diogo are the two main men you're looking to.
They are a duo now. Yeah, I would compliment them as a duo.
And I just think Diogo will be desperate to get back on the horse again, back in the saddle, as they say, and hit the net. He's another one that prides himself on scoring goals and is hard on himself when he doesn't. Didn't really get much service the other night, but he'll get service today. And I'm looking to those two in particular. But I'm also looking to Dice Maida to do that role that you said and just buzz around and be a general pest, to the Livingston defence. And that's what you want, Ryan. And that's where I think Celtic will get joy, because I really do trust those players. They are performing at a very high level, certainly domestically. And I'm looking for another one of those days that they had under Ange Postecoglou. So I'm going to go 3-0, Ryan. That's my prediction.
3-0, first goal scorer, who do you think? Are you thinking that Greg Taylor can score another goal at the Tony Macaroni? Or are you going to go somewhere else?
I'll keep it kind of simple. I'll just say Kyogo for the first goal.
That's a pretty solid bet. I wouldn't bet against that. That's for sure. Thank you to everybody. There's near enough 200 people that have joined us this morning on this match preview. We will be back after the game to discuss everything that's happened throughout the 90 minutes and beyond in terms of the press conferences. So please stay tuned for that. We'll try and get on as soon as possible, but work permits that we do other things first. Just quickly before we finish off, if you subscribe to the Celtic Way website, you'll be supporting top quality football journalism covering the club you love. We can't do these videos without your subscriptions, both on YouTube and on the website. So if you are interested, £4 for 4 months. Please visit www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe and then press the big subscribe button on the YouTube channel. It's completely free. You'll get notifications on when we go live, so you'll be one of the first ones in the comment sections to make comments. So if you are interested, please do those two things. They really do help us. We couldn't do this without you. And it keeps us going, basically. It keeps us functioning. So if you are interested and want to keep us going, then please do subscribe. Really do appreciate it. Tony, I can hear that the decibels are getting a bit louder. The fans seem to be...
That's the Green Brigade drum just came into the proceedings, so probably a good time to push it.
I think the drum is like a gong in terms of we need to head now. I think that's the telltale sign. But thank you very much for joining me today. Tony, I'm Tony at the Tony Macaroni. I think that's got a ring to it. Fingers crossed you bring that good luck with us. After the game, we'll be talking post-match about the game and everything that happened. Thank you to everybody in the comments. We really do appreciate it. And enjoy the game. Fingers crossed Celtic get the 3 points and move 7 points clear. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.